am icon. I am that pictured in those Tales 2 song. I am that which from the brink respawns. I bring unrest when the seas have calmed. I am legend, I am fool. I am one of many, I am under no rule. I am peasant, I am loon. I'm disparaged, I'm consumed, I'm most certainly confused. Am I seeing something real or is it smoke? Am I on the ground or am I hung without a rope? And is this fantasy or from the dream have I awoke? Am I steady on the path or am I clinging on to hope? Am I? That the wise have told, compile every scripture from the books of old, and muse upon the meaning of the truths you've sown. You will germinate the mind, but the fields won't grow. This is the high of low. This is the friend turned foe. This is what the light can't show. If you stand still, don't expect the earth will slow. See that every wind up plateaus. If you wanna see the rise up, let go. The greatest tragedy is every breath takes toll, is to live a life and never witness depth of soul. Snake inside the rocks, they tell you will consume. Liberate the mind, but lock the body in a groove. Know that sedentary can be tantamount to tomb. This is why a coma patient must be regularly moved. In the quest for plenty, know the paths are many, but few will lead you past the regions where the past is buried. Given is the levy that will bound a man's greed. Prison is the dwelling when you take no leave. Faster than a sparrow flies, trap the cupid by surprise. Grab his bow and arrow and shoot straight into the empty sky. You can spend eternity immersed in what's inside, but if you're searching for a purpose, then no purpose will you find. I am icon, I am that vision, I am fate transformed. I am that allegiance to the sword you've sworn. I am false idol, I am fraud. Ratchet down disaster like a phoenix in decline. Imagined up in rapture, but no miracle am I. If you sing inside a cavern like canaries in a mine, no indulgence is the hazard, so be wary with your time. To mean something we live and we strive for it. To feel something we fight and survive for it. To love something we scream out and cry for it. But tell me now, are you willing to die for it? Take of what may come as you lay on the line for it. Armored at the core with the ready and primed for it. Reach the battleground with the courage to drive for it. And to know the fundamentals of being alive. Am I? fortune a size grew, with which a life of leisure by reason would ensue, from which no turn or hardship could threaten to undo, to sacrifice the short to invest in the long view. And so it went, the hours and weekends they pushed through, a family full of ghosts, but the payoff would yield huge, till decades down the line this epiphany stone true, they'd raise the worth along with the son that they never knew. They riding toward the sheen of an image. They ride that road to riches, right past the road of riches. Road to riches. They gather at the park always after class, where troubles of the youth never seem to last, and fantasize of things that they hope to have. How they would all be famous signing autographs. They let out a laugh, but one boy among them, this meant more than he showed, cause absentee parents always left him alone. So love and adoration wasn't something he'd known, and he was adamant that someday he would have it in droves. And so it was, celebrity life came to pass, with followers and all the acclaim that you could ask. But something was amiss and still eluded his grasp. He missed belonging like those days at the park that he'd had. They ride. They chasing crescents in the sky, but they grasp only the vision. They riding toward the sheen of an image. They ride the road to riches, right past this road of riches. Blinded by their obsession, racing toward a rainbow, engaged in a fool's errand. Dogged in pursuit, there's no altering their perception, till they spin out at the bend and they wake up inside the trenches. And this the moral and fables that fail to mention. Many fall to ruin, succeeding in their objectives. Realized opportunities flourish among the wreckage, when goals are selected but methods are ignored, when misaligned incentives undermine a greater cause, when shadows of perspective cloak the end you're working towards, like movements of the heavens that the senses don't regard. These moments passing by, they're on procession of the serve. For every text I read there were pages still left to turn. I've learned from all the migrants and drifters to whom I'd listen. Philosophers and soldiers whose knowledge I would solicit. I know histories and nations I'll never have chance to visit. Complexities of science and language with great precision. But in the end I've seen nothing of what's been given. This life that I've employed, while I love it, it has its limits. The failing I regret, though it's painful, I must admit it. For everything I know of this world, I never lived it. like an addiction, he soared on a glorious high. Living to him was a mission devoid of objective in mind. drop of a dime with no thinking or questioning why. Never developed attachment to things or would get left behind. This was the method that patterned his ways. Perpetual motion without any reins. No repercussions, no piper to pay. No obligation to come into play. Nothing to weigh, no one to sway. No inhibition or stress to allay. No benefit to the bond that he'd say. So die on the morrow but live for this day. Lone as the wolf strays, he remained one in kind. A habit of force made as he weighed far and wide. Now onwards and upwards, no grind. If you don't seek, you can't find. Devil may care, well no devil compared. He was on a one hell of a ride, he was gone. Disguised from things insecurity hides. Running from doubt and the pressure to cope, and no semblance of hope on the rise. Running from heartbreak and love. Running from who we had failed to become. Running from theory, then came to realize he was left all alone with but words of the wise. And so on, the day when our passage entwined. Now longing, the tooth at the end of his line. He said, friend, go yonder, but bear this in mind. In this world, no one truth, you can't run from time. By a thread, hate grows when it's fed. The blue skies overhead, the sun shines on the dead, and blight creeps up through the beds. Uncommon winds plague can descend, and paradise turns on its head. Where brutality looms and upends, we're always but steps from that edge. Tottering steps off that ledge. You can stare off, deny and pretend, but reality snaps when you've bled. You've bled. mercy is laid, when cancer invades, when trust that you gave returns and betrays. This is the bed that they made. This the result when grit wanes. This the effect when nerve fades. If you lay down your sword, then be slain. And I see the desire in your veins. I share the resolve you maintain. I feel the dominion you crave, but I refuse the kingdom you claim. As wars wage and lives are disposed, beware of the frame of mind you impose. Cause I've seen the face ascendancy shows, and none can assuage the hunger that grows. Insidious as it unfolds, drunk in the poisonous hold. This is the trade when you take to that throne. The power commands, but it's you what controls. The seat of true power holds beyond the throne. The seed that in man corrodes. Beyond the throne, the crown of supreme control. Beyond the throne, commands and consumes you whole. Beyond the throne, the seat of true power holds. The seed that in man corrodes. The crown of supreme control. Commands and consumes you whole. That absolute rule forebodes. That trap that improves the soul. Has mind to forsake what's shown. Has will to disown, go beyond the throne. Beyond the throne. The more you feed the black hole, the more it takes to control. The more you feed the black hole, the more it takes and controls. The more you feed the black hole, the more it takes to control. The more you feed the black hole, the more it takes and controls. Silver, crimson, black. Roman. That silver, crimson, black. Silver, crimson, black. Roman. Silver, crimson, black. Words of a scribe. No words can describe, but they can serve as a guide, and you can learn if applied. Now some burn from the match, some fall through the cracks. So for those lost, it's a map. Silver, crimson, black. To know silver is to know respect. In disguise come that silver like a side effect. But silver lies with the snake, ain't no idle threat. So only rest where all them silver lines bottleneck. Silver off the screen, treated patron like a saint. Silver in that spoon, but don't confuse the painter with the paint. Cause silver heed the tales of butchered men and perished souls, leaving its path rolling beasts, silver bullet holes. Silver undergo like pressure underweight. Silver that potential, it's that key to heaven's gate. Silver when that patience conquers seizure with restraint. Silver understands the essence of no greatest of the greats. And silver tame emotion like that silver spider sows. Silver mirrors light the way that silver moon glows. And silver cut adversity, so keep your hands closed. That silver, crimson, black, a mix so few have ever known. Crimson decimate the workings of a strong man. Cut the ribbon, crimson opens with a strong ram. And crimson and spread a mass of fury when the flames fan. Crimson have you searching for the exit on the floor plan. Crimson mob bold, paint the town red, giant uncontrolled. Red letter A's told, and crimson can seduce and turn the district into sleepers. Infect a righteous leader with a case of scarlet fever. Now let that crimson rise within, begin to see red. Catch that surprise, crimson reveals, begin to seem red. If crimson blooms, all the waters up and seas red. And all the crimson in our hands, leave them seas red. Mark that zone red, sound that code red. That ringing phone's red, emergency the word said. And crimson flows from the rivers that our hearts bled. Crimson rose red, rum, murder, pose dead. Silver, crimson, black. Silver, crimson, black. Silver, crimson, black. Made with 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 silver, crimson, black. Rose petals on the landscape when grim come near. And black roams far, it's that final frontier. When black holes swallow, black's magic disappears. That black hole sorrow break the most austere. Now evil in the air, black tones sound fear. Though even if you stare, black veils all clear. And never beg a savage, black hearts don't dare. But black mourns those who've departed so dear. Sincere is the reckoning, black's cloud storms. Black robes worn, black days long. Like black rats spread disease, black swarms meander in the dark and black eyes gon' form. As black's night shield the heavens with black hides the messages, but black's light shows the evidence. And space is full of dark matter's black mass. Raise them stone walls, watch when black's balls smash. Cause black's mark bear that ash from the rubble. Black bears the vault where those secret thoughts huddle. And black bears all, turn and face it if you dare. But if you run from black's bear, be prepared for some trouble. Now who on earth am I? Why are we alive? What's the me and my? Where does time fly? All the pieces to the puzzle, black hides, black boundless, explanatory gap so wide. And black envelops in that blackout. Question of the truth will lead to silence in that blackout. You should know confusion always follows when you black out. So never turn your back to black when the black's out. Every luminescence casts a black shadow we perceive. But black smell contain not one letter you can read. And criticize their worth, but black sheep stampede. Rely upon a plea or flee from black's OPs. That silver shines when the man stand in victory. That crimson blinds from the fires of our history. That black aligns all the beauty and the misery. Crimson and that silver can shed light on black's mystery. So pull that silver from the stone, let that red attack. Cross that silver with that black, be a silverback. And hold that crimson red-handed as you golden with your black hands. Spin that hourglass, black widow. He was down on the floor with his lips to a glass. Said he dreamed of a future that won't come to pass. that he once strive to excel in a world so vast. But why run a race when it's rigged and he's fixed in last? Then he mused all of life is the joke and he laughed. That it is what it is and he's thankful for all that he has. I said, well, let me just pose one question and ask. If you just want what you have, then why are you sad? If you wanna fight, then why are you running? If everything is fine for you, why are you stumbling? So silent. She was tripping on something that was laced in the tea. And she was high as a kite when she said she could see. Said we in the land of the free, but no freedom grows. And if we in a brave new world where the brave all go. I said, hell if I know. Then she told me that the problem is society. Everybody crippled by anxiety. No one is the person that they try to be. Then she said, what we need are a few with a view that can bring a change through. That we need less talk and more do. So I said to her, what about you? Then why are you running? If everything is fine for you, why are you stumbling? And if you wanna fight, then why are you running? If everything is fine for you, why are you stumbling? So silent. I was listening to someone give a speech, something about the knowledge of enlightenment he reached. And as my eyes glazed over in my seat, he approached and he asked if he could challenge my beliefs. I said by all means have at it. Then he talked about the suffering and source of bad habits. How the emptying of mind is the challenge and withdrawing from the world is the cure to all sadness. I said that all sounds like madness. Why have a life and then not be alive? Why have a mind and then choose to be blind? What you call wisdom is the fear that you hide. You cannot retreat from those demons inside. This is not peace, it's a mask you adorn. This is not truth, it's a trap, nothing more. And you're too busy running from something you can't ignore. If you wanna fight, then why are you running? If everything is fine for you, why are you stumbling? And if you wanna fight, then why are you running? If everything is fine for you, why are you stumbling? So silent. that black swan. To trap love, you must wade through the fog. But try to grab it, once you have it, then it's gone. Now some never see beyond these walls, and some never see those worms that crawl. But mind your step or you will trip on pride's fall. Trust no man if his head above all. Still like the world on pause. Eased breath of a wind pre-storm. Firm grasp, let the blade conform. Manifest thy will transform. Become sword unsheathed, cut raw. Become myth, turn life real law. Meet the rage on the field of war, but never drink of the blood that pours. Look upon ruin and behold these ways. When you remove that leash, then you'll end the dog days. Only by hand can you turn that page. Only keys of integrity unlock that cage. If you swim in foul play, you will live among plague. If you cut a man's spirit, he will bleed just the same. When you linger in the desert, don't expect to find rain. And if you wish to know peace, you must come to know pain. Every pioneer leaves the home of the brave. Every last deed has a seed that remains. And with every backlash, some are shocked and afraid. But you will never see the light if you refuse to leave shade. This that jewel of the master. Steady wins the race, though impatience run it faster. Turn to face the dragon as they bruise your disaster. Ride upon its back, breathing flames with a rapture. In this world, only victory or capture. Never sleep until that reaper come and snatch ya. And you can't starve with a belly full of laughter. Learn to take risks so reward can come after. We all the same, but ain't no two of us alike. And when push come to shove, you abstain from the fight. Receive the match of life, but then decline to ignite. That's what the sage calls the wrong of two rights. So live or die, choose the former or the latter. Walk that tightrope, but don't fall to the flatter. Hit them with the truth, and that body gon' shatter. I call that mind over matter. Real talk, this ain't the rhyming of a rapper. It's expression of my heart, but all these people got it backwards. Jam me in the box, but I don't fit inside your pattern. Maybe now they'll get the message when these lyrics gone and slap them. So pay attention to the key of my tone. I can lend a hand, but I can't save your soul. And if you want a leader, you should lead yourself home. I call my own shots, I won't sit in your throne. Time on the lawn, but no one around. I will not be tamed. I will not behave. I will not be caged. I will not be slave. I won't be contained. I will never fade away. A sky red from the blood, rose cheeks dull from the mud, hands worn through from the sludge, a self no longer begrudged, and murder is a potion of love, sacrifice devotion thereof, and he without sin never was. Now a changing of the guard has begun, a kingdom that belies the internal, is a prison of the mind that's infernal, and eternal is the lie turned plague. So I've dug this grave so my truth won't fade. I feel the war paint on my face, I feel the ground tremble and quake, I feel my heart sink to the pace that these war drums make. I feel alive and awake, and all I see is war path ahead of me. Each and every step I welcome readily, and if my lack of fear bring the death of me, let the spirits of my ancestors envelop me. So know this is that Armageddon coming, a flood that goes beyond the refuge high upon the summit. A sun become whole, black hole on consumption, spun inside itself into a beacon that is summoned. That creature of the deep that leaves a pit inside your stomach, that rumbling beneath that bodes arrival from above, and that nature of the beast that feeds upon the will to numb it. That monster brought the seed of life, well now I have become it. And I feel like I got a gun, like I've been changed more ways than one, and this whole world has just begun, and it's so nice to meet me. And I feel like I got a gun, like I've been changed more ways than one, and this whole world has just begun, and it's so nice to meet me. A self once masked by these stains, that filth washed out with the rain. When I'm done, only thing that remains is a tombstone etched with my name. Look into a face that is changed, recognize the corpse in that grave, resurrect what's lost can be saved. I am now free, once slave, and I am not a part of a game. I am not a moth to a flame, I am both man and brigade. I won't be denied or restrained, I am what the weak can obtain, I am what survives if it's slain, I am rest in peace if you aim. No, I am not built of the same. upon it, death and no rage. He said he had the truth that I crave, Then my sword through his chest I gave. Ain't no one command, I behave. Never put my faith in plans best laid, and I don't follow rules that you made. I think it's time I set this whole bitch ablaze. On the precipice of slaughter is the Lord. Angels and they demons come together with a cause, and I don't think you really know the meaning of a storm. Let this serve a lesson on the essence of reform. Hatred without focus make the eager man fall. Violence without purpose make the mighty man small. Vengeance without mercy leave the noble man flawed. And insurrection mounts behind those battle lines drawn. The future is beholden to the present moment cast, and prudence don't repeat the feudal habits of the past. And courage is the heat that sheds the skeletons at last. These trains of thought now heading toward a devastating crash. Bloodshed to that order like a flower to a thorn. Beauty no perfection like a child know the law. And I advise you heed these words enlightened and forewarned. Truth in what you are, an oath of life to which I've sworn. And I feel like I got a gun, like I've been changed more ways than one. And this whole world has just begun, and it's so nice to meet me. And I feel like I got a gun, like I've been changed more ways than one. And this whole world has just begun, and it's so nice to meet me. Splatter in the air, lying on the pavement, beaten in despair. Cruel with the blows as they battered and impaired. He was shown no sympathy and he wouldn't be spared. And all the townspeople were gathered and stood there. They watched the punishment get delivered with no care. But when he looked around at the faces that all stared, he saw his own face, that's when he became scared. He awoke from the clock tower chime, heart thud like a cannon on the line. Vivid echoes of the dream on his mind. This week the third of its kind. Now his bottles of meds will conceal, but wounds left open are harder to be healed. And though some case files are better if left sealed, unless he take them pills, insomnia won't yield. Will no rest for the wicked, such is the fruit of a life with no limit. Ghosts of the past always tend to revisit. Rarely will they come bearing gifts of forgiveness. And from the streets to the walls, so much violence he made. As he grew in age, he began to follow different ways, hounded by the haunted memories from the days that he was detrimental. Man, he wished that he could change that, but one can never really leave what's behind. You can't undo the fate you designed. Cover up the tracks and bloodhounds will find, cause all debts owed get paid in due time. Evil on the mind and blood splatter in the air. Gag in his mouth, he was strapped to a chair. Hood on his head, when lifted the face stared. He was looking at himself, that's when he became scared. Cruel with the blows that battered and impaired. Fading from the world and beaten to despair. Beyond all hope and clinging to one prayer. Let him soon pass out from the pain and be spared. But the pain kept coming, weak from the rivers of blood that kept running, and faint from the image uncovered in front of him. He knew with the angel of death he'd confronted. Ain't no mercy in that self-combat. foot to his chest to tip his chair back, cause this tormentor was eager to give more. Put a cloth to his face to follow the waterfall. Then he awoke with a cough and a heave, his heart pound like cannons in mid-siege. Vivid echoes of his terrified screams, cause nothing ever just is what it seems. Then he noticed his clothes were soaked clean, sheets on his bed were drenched to extreme. But this time around he knew it was no dream. From the smell he could tell he was covered in gasoline. And in the corner by the door was a man, cloaked in the shadow with a cigarette in hand, with no words spoken, a motive and clear plan. Well, all's fan, karma's a bitch, law of the land. Till then he had averted, but was homicide certain. And that guilt inside him hurting, he concluded with the verdict: if this is what it takes to serve as my life's penance, bring on that inferno, I'm ready to greet the menace. Evil on the mind and burnt skin in the air, smoke fill his lungs as he breathed in despair. Devil on his shoulder with snickered with no care. This a one-way journey without hope or a prayer. Fading from the world and thinking don't be scared. Let it all go, get ready, be prepared. As he looked through the blaze at the body that stood there, he saw his own self in the minds that just glared.